everyone. I am multitasking at its finest, and I will be doing Facebook Live at the same time. Let me clear my screen, sorry. Hey, Beth. All right. Give you guys a second to get on. There we go. Go live. There we go. Hey everyone, I am Jackie Ritz and I am doing a demo for you guys on how to make elderberry syrup. Elderberry syrup is something that we keep in our house all throughout the fall and winter, and we use it in multiple different ways. So I'm gonna do a live demo with you guys tonight. I'm gonna be showing you how I make it and also some variations that you can use with making your elderberry syrup depending on your own palate. And so just a few things about elderberries. I grow elderberries here at my house. I love elderberries. Before we had our own elderberries, I used to purchase them, and they're still good like that. So if you can't grow your own elderberries, you can purchase dried elderberries, and there's lots of good sources for it. I do recommend with elderberries and any kind of berries that if you do purchase dried elderberries, that you make sure that you are purchasing organic, okay? All berries should be organic, in my opinion, if you're gonna be eating them. So elderberries are actually packed with vitamins, minerals, but mostly antioxidants. And one of the best known benefits of black elderberries is the power to boost your immune system because of its very strong antiviral properties. And so the medicinal parts of the elderberry plant is actually the entire elderberry plant. So you have the bark, the young shoots, the leaves, the elder flowers, which are beautiful at infusing into salves and body butters. But most of all, the berries, the part that we love the most. So the entire plant is able to be used for your home apothecary. I love the elderberry bush, and I would recommend everyone to get one because they're so beautiful to have. The flowers actually on the elder flowers are really great at reducing phlegm. And so they're really great for your respiratory system. So we use them, we infuse it into like a chest rub and put it with our Breathe essential oil, and we rub it onto the chest. Another really great one, another great thing that flowers do is that they soften the skin. And so like I said, you can add them to your salves and you can add them to your lotions, but you can also make like a poultice with it too, and you know, where you grab all the flowers together and just put it directly onto your skin. So, but today I'm going to talk to you guys about making your own elderberry syrup. And so you can reap all of the benefits of the elderberry bush just by purchasing your dried elderberries. Now these are harvested on our farm, and we dried them in our little, what's it called? Dehydrator, that thing. And so I'm using these tonight, but you can get them from a good, trustworthy source. But I do want to encourage you guys, one of the bases of say what we're doing with the elderberries is we're creating an infusion. And we're going to be infusing all the wonderful benefits of the elderberries into honey. And we just harvested this honey from our bees in our backyard. So I want to encourage you guys to find a good local source for your raw honey. It should be raw because that means it hasn't been pasteurized, and you have all of those healthy benefits from the raw honey that you're going to be taking throughout the fall and winter to keep your immune systems high. So find somebody local to you who has raw honey. Ours is a nice amber color this year. I love seeing the different colors that we get from our honey. This was left over. We didn't think our bees were going to have any extra for us because it's a new hive and we don't take the honey from them. We leave it for them during the winter. But they had 2 frames that were extra and we were able to get almost a half gallon of honey from just 2 frames. And you can see that we left, it's unfiltered, so we leave all the goody pollen and propolis in it, and there's even little bits of beeswax in there. And that is all really, really good stuff for your immune system. So find a good source of local raw honey. So we're going to start with a pot, all right? And I've already done the really long part for you guys, where you are infusing the honey with the elderberries. But I'm gonna go through it step by step. So grab a pot, get your measuring cup out, and you're gonna fill your pot up with 2 cups of water. This recipe makes about, thank you, this recipe makes about 3 cups of elderberry syrup. And for us as a family, we usually have to double this recipe. And I'm gonna give you guys dosage amount and stuff like that at the end. So 2 cups of water goes into your pot. And you're also going to be using, if you're using dried elderberries, hi Tamara. If you're using dried elderberries, you're gonna use 2/3 of a cup. So scoop it right into the pot of water onto your stove. You're gonna put 2 cups of dried elderberries. If you have fresh elderberries, you're gonna use 1.5 cups of fresh. Okay, so scoop that right into the pot. And then we're going to use whole cloves, and you're going to put a teaspoon, okay, 1 teaspoon of whole cloves right into your pot as well. Oh, it smells so good. It makes me so excited about Thanksgiving. You're also going to use cinnamon. Okay, so take 1 stick of cinnamon and throw it into your pot as well. All right. I'm giving you the base ingredients, and then I'm going to show you guys some ways that you can add some more things to it depending on if it sounds good to you. You're gonna take about a 1-inch knob of ginger. And this is just regular whole ginger. If you wanna peel it, you can peel it, but I recommend you definitely chopping it. So chop it up into nice little, I don't know, just nice pieces, because there's more surface area of the ginger that way to infuse into the honey. I would not sub any essential oils at this point because we are going to be infusing the honey and we're going to be putting it on the stove and heating it. So I would not sub at this point. I am going to give you some boost. I call them my little oil boost that you can add at the end, and I'll give you some suggestions for that. So your ginger should look like this, all right? And that was that little 1-inch knob of ginger. Throw that right into the pot as well. Okay, so that's it for right now. So you bring the water, you bring the elderberries, you bring the spices to a boil, and then once it's boiling, you're going to reduce it to a simmer and put the lid onto it. All right, make sure that you put the lid onto it. That's really important when you're infusing. You're gonna let that simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes. But while it's simmering, it's really important. I have a cat jumping on my window outside. While it's simmering, it's really important to frequently go over, and I use a wire whisk because I don't have a potato masher, and I just kind of mash it down. And so what that does is kind of breaks open the berries and lets get all that goody juice out of the berries and into the water. Okay, so I just make sure I do that probably every 10 minutes or whenever I think about it or walk by the kitchen. And that just, like I said, that just gets all the goodness out of those elderberries, all those antioxidants, all that immune support, all that antiviral properties out of the berries. You're busting the berries open literally, and you're able to get a really, really dark, you guys see that? A really, really dark base I have. So it looks like a globby mess, and I have been simmering this I probably went for about 45 minutes. You know, it doesn't matter as long as you have it on a simmer and you're not boiling it constantly the whole time, you should be all right. So there's the big gooey mess, and this is what we're going to take right now, and we're going to finally add our honey to it. Now, another thing I wanted to add is that I love my herbs. So I throw in like a handful of nettles. And so this is stinging nettles, which is really high in minerals and iron. And I just take a little bit like this and I throw that in. Okay, you don't have to do this. These are just ways that you can, you know, bring up the mineral content of the elderberries syrup if you would like to, and if you have herbs on hand. So I would just recommend look up any kind of immune boosting herbs that are safe to be taken on a daily basis. So they should be a tonic. And no, they don't sting your hand, because when you dry stinging nettles, the sting is gone. So you don't, and when you cook stinging nettles as well, the sting is gone. But when you do harvest stinging nettles, you need to wear gloves because they will sting you. Another thing that I added in was chickweed. And chickweed is another immune boosting tonic that is safe to be taken on a daily basis. And I just took it like this. I mean, you guys probably have chickweed growing wild in your, around your house and you don't even know it. It's a really low growing perennial that comes back every spring, and it's really, really good for your immune system. So I would recommend you harvest it and dry it out so that you can use it during the winter when your immune systems need a little bit of a big hug. And so those were the kind of the herbs that I threw in there. So if you do throw any herbs in, make sure that you do it with the spices, with the elderberries at the beginning, okay? And now what we're gonna do is I'm going to attempt to move you guys over to the other table without dropping. So give me a second. There we go. I did good. I did it. So, let's see, can you guys see? There we go, move you back. There we go, right there. Don't look at my messy kitchen. So now we're going to take our glooby globby mess, okay? But it's so, so medicinal and good. And I have, actually before I dump that in, I'm gonna show you guys an easy thing to do. So you want to wait till your mixture is warm before you add your raw honey. Because obviously we don't want to heat our raw honey up, because then it's not raw anymore and you've taken away some of those medicinal benefits. So what I do is I take a little Pyrex, and you're going to put a cup of your raw honey in. And so I usually pour it in right now before I add my elderberry syrup. Look at that honey, yummy. My kids love elderberry syrup. They literally fight for it every day. They love when it's elderberry syrup time. I'm going to show you guys a couple ways that I use elderberry syrup around our house as well. All right, so I've got my honey in the bottom, and now I'm going to add my mixture, which is still warm. And that's important because if it's still warm, it's going to actually integrate the honey and dissolve the honey into the elderberry syrup. Okay, I have a little thing like this, and then I just use cheesecloth and I cut it up. And I would definitely recommend using a cheesecloth, because I'm going to show you guys how messy this can get without, if you don't have it, it could get super messy. Okay, so we're just going to filter out all that. My pigs get my cinnamon. My pigs are going to get all this. They're going to be really happy. They need their immune systems boosted too. So we're pouring in that yummy, yummy herbal mixture infusion. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pick this cheesecloth up. And if you throw this away at this point, you have missed out on the best stuff. So take that cheesecloth and squeeze the hell out of it. Right there, get all of that out. Squeeze it all into your pan. There is so much goodness in this. Just get your hands dirty. See it all coming out? And I just kind of re-mash it in different ways. And I just make sure I get it all out. Do a little twisting, you know. Just get it all out as best as you can. If you don't have pigs, like I do, who get all of my kitchen scraps, then you can compost this. And this is really good for the compost pile. Okay, so you see that beautiful, beautiful color? It looks almost black right now. Let me clean up my mess. So the honey is actually in there, and it has not, I need to mix it up and I need to incorporate it. So it's easiest to do that with your whisk. Get some of the big chunkies out and just take it. And you can see that it's not mixed in yet, so I just need to mix it up with that warm syrup until the honey dissolves. You can see how pretty that is. It's almost black. And it is, you can feel when it gets mixed in, it just becomes easier to mix. It's not as heavy. So actually this demo that I'm doing today is part of my essential oil wellness team. We just did a 2-day long holiday bazaar, and every hour from 12 to 8 somebody came on and made a recipe like this, and so it's been an incredible experience. I loved it. I love watching everybody. You can still find that on Facebook if you want to go and view that. It's a public event, so just type in well-oiled DIY holiday bazaar. Well-oiled DIY holiday bazaar, and all of the Facebook Live replays are up there for you guys to watch. All right, so this is our elderberry syrup. Now, let me show you guys. This is how I bottle mine up. All right, we sell it for $15 here, but this is ours that we're using from the fridge. You need to make sure you keep it in the fridge. All right, this is, there's no preservatives in it. Some people believe by adding a little bit of lemon juice that it could preserve it a little bit. Thank you. Yes, that was it right there, whoever typed that in. But we never go through it so slow. We always are actually needing to make more and trying to keep up with the demand around here. The dosage for this, obviously, if you have a child over 1, they can take this because honey's not recommended for babies. But they can take this, and I recommend that adults take a tablespoon a day during the fall and the winter. And children can take about, half a tablespoon, 2 teaspoons to a half a tablespoon, or about a tablespoon daily. So, but if you're feeling under the weather, adults can take up to 1 tablespoon every 2 to 4 hours as needed. And children can take about a half a teaspoon every 2 to 4 hours. This is excellent for a congestion, for a cough, for production. We use it as a cough syrup. My son was actually just sick, and we use this probably every 2 hours as a cough syrup. Will you repeat where you can find the other videos? Stephanie, you're actually viewing it in the Facebook event already. So just go into that Facebook event. If you hit on discussion and see all the posts, you can scroll through and see all of the posts from our team. All right, let's talk about adding essential oils to this now. Now, we prefer not to add any oils to the bottle because this is our family bottle. So I have a son who's 5, I have a daughter who's almost 8, and then I have me and my husband. So I don't like adding oils to the bottle because I don't like my kids taking oils internally yet. But I do take oils internally. I only recommend you take doTERRA or a very high quality therapeutic grade oil like doTERRA. In a previous demo, Susan, one of my wonderful friends, Susan Giddens, did a demo on infusing vinegars and infusing cooking oils with herbs and spices and essential oils. And she had really good tips on internal usage. And one of them is just to make sure that you're not, using more than what you should be using. So we always recommend to make sure that you look on the back. And if you have the supplemental facts on the back, then it's safe to be taken internally. So I have 2 different kinds of oils, essential oils, that I add to my elderberry syrup. And the way that I actually add it to my syrup is I take my tablespoon, because I get a tablespoon of elderberry syrup. I take my tablespoon and I add my essential oils to my spoon first. Okay, because once again, I don't want my kids taking essential oils internally, so this is how me and my husband do it. I add frankincense always to my elderberry syrup. This is an incredible daily immune booster. You guys can just Google frankincense and see all the amazing benefits of it, because I can't tell you it all because I have to be compliant. So, but it's so good at boosting your immune system. It's so great at reaching into a cellular level onto your body and supporting that. So I try to take frankincense daily, a drop a day. But I absolutely make sure that I am taking frankincense during the winter and during the fall. Another one that is so yummy, adding to your elderberry syrup, is cardamom. Cardamom is almost like a double whammy oil. I love it. Not only is it so good for your digestive system, so if you are going through a time where you need extra digestive support and you want to do something else with your elderberry syrup, you can add a drop of cardamom to your spoon. Now, if it's just you and you want to go ahead and add everything to your bottle already, then you're going to be adding a drop of whatever kind of essential oil you want to add to it per tablespoon of liquid. So here we have about 3 cups of elderberry syrup. So you would just try to figure out how many tablespoons that is, okay? Because I don't know that in my head. And then you would just add it to your bottle and just make sure that before you take your syrup, you give it a good shake, okay? Another good daily one that you can add to your elderberry syrup is On Guard. On Guard is such an incredible blend of, in fact, some of the spices that we use today is actually in On Guard. So you're getting extra benefits by some other things like wild orange peel and eucalyptus leaf and rosemary. So an excellent one to add. Now, maybe it's nighttime and you are feeling a little under the weather. You want to take your elderberry syrup and you want to get a good night's rest. Lavender is safe to be taken internally, 1 drop. You would add to your spoon and then add your elderberry syrup to your spoon. This is why I don't like actually adding my essential oils to my big bottle, because I kind of like to vary it up. If I'm needing some extra digestive support, then I know that I can add my cardamom, or if I'm going to bed at night and I want to have a good night's sleep, I know that I can add my lavender or my Roman chamomile. This is one of my favorite ones to take if I need a good night's rest. And on December 1st, you'll be able to buy this one through doTERRA. So that is kind of some of the essential oils you can add to it. But honestly, look at your bottles of oils and see which ones are safe to be taken internally as a tonic. So a tonic is something like, you know, like elderberry syrup is a tonic. It's safe to be taken every single day. You know, like oregano is not a essential oil that is actually safe to be taken every single day. It should be only taken during a limited time when your body during extreme situations when you need it. So just make sure that whatever essential oils that you are using, that they are safe to be taken every single day. All right, so how do we bottle this up? It's super easy. You can either, and I get these little amber bottles, but the only thing about these is that you can't see the beautiful color. So if you're giving elderberry syrup away as a gift, you can get mason jars. These are really, really excellent. And the reason why I love these so much is because when you put the lid on, it creates that suction, which actually preserves it even longer. You don't even have to can it. So I love doing it like this just for my family. Just pour it right in. And you can see I got just about, well, you get 3 cups, so, and it's beautiful. It's such a pretty color. I love it. So yummy. Let me show you guys now. The syrup can be used as a enhancement to many different recipes that you are making. And one of my family's favorite is drizzled on top of pancakes or waffles. Another one is homemade kombucha. I make my own kombucha. Save my little mama right here. You can see how big she is. Kombucha is a fermented drink that is loaded with probiotics. So it's excellent for your gut health, excellent for your immune system. And my daughter loves kombucha. She absolutely will drink it straight without anything in it. But one of her favorite ways is like this. So take a tablespoon and throw it right in there, just like that. And so we do that for her, and she drinks about a half of these a day. I don't let her drink tons. So give it a good shake, and it changes it to a really pretty amber color as well. So that's another way that we use elderberry syrup. Another way that I use elderberry, so I'm on a ketogenic diet, so I don't eat a lot of honey or high sugar or high carbs. So I don't like to take too much elderberry syrup, and I definitely don't like to have it in my kombucha. So what I do is I take my dried elderberries and I put my kombucha through a second fermentation. And so what that means is I take my dried elderberries and I pour them. I do a tablespoon. I actually do about 2 tablespoons. I really love it in there. So I add about 2 tablespoons to my kombucha. Just get that lid on there and just shake it up really good. And then what I do is I sit this on my counter for another 2 days. And you can see that it's naturally carbonated. So if you're addicted to soda and you want to come off of it, really look into kombucha. It's such a good way to kind of come off of that sugar addiction that you might have. It's been excellent for me because I like to have a Diet Coke probably about once a week. And I've been on a ketogenic diet for almost 2 months now, and I haven't had a Diet Coke in 2 months. So if I'm getting that craving, I just kind of grab this and I do that. I can absolutely go over that recipe one more time. So let's go back. And so those are pretty much the ways that I use elderberry, elderberry syrup, and elderberries in my home for my family. So here's the recipe one more time. 2 cups of filtered water, 2/3 of a cup of dried elderberries, or 1.5 cups of fresh, 1 cup of your most local raw honey, 1 teaspoon of whole cloves, 1 stick of cinnamon. Oh, I forgot to talk about this one. if you want to put a little bit of turmeric in there, you can add a knob of turmeric as well. And 1 knob of ginger, so about a 1-inch knob of ginger peeled and cut. And so that's the recipe. If you want to look it up, it's actually on my blog. You can do a quick Google search to find it really quick. Google the Paleo Mama, M-A-M-A, and just type in elderberry syrup. It should pop up. It's called How to Grow Elderberries and Make Elderberry Syrup. So it's not just about making the syrup, it's also about how to grow elderberries. So if you're watching this and you want to start growing your own elderberries, then it's on there. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I actually want to close out our holiday bazaar. Those people on Periscope who are watching right now, just kind of disregard. But for those of you on Facebook who have watched in and tuned in for the last 2 days, I know that I have really, really enjoyed watching every single person who did some kind of demo for us. I mean, there were so many good ideas. There is no reason for you guys to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Christmas this year for your friends and family. I know for me that I love it when somebody gives me a homemade gift. And it could be something as simple as seasoned salt, right? That was one of the demos that we saw. It cost what? $1, I think Susan said $1.50 to make. Or it could be the neck wrap, you know, the rice wrap that you put on your neck, or the lip balm. I know that I appreciate something that's created and handcrafted. It just means so much more to me. So write down those ingredients from the Facebook lives that you watched. Go out and get them and make something special for your teachers that are in your life, for your firefighters, for your policemen who are keeping you safe, for anyone, for your pastors, for anyone who are special to you that you give gifts to. Make them something homemade. I know that they'll appreciate it. And so that's it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this well-oiled, do-it-yourself holiday bazaar. I believe this is going to be an annual thing because I just had so much fun watching these Facebook Lives. And if you haven't watched them, if you're on Periscope or you're just tuning in on Facebook and you haven't watched through, once again, you can go into our event on Facebook. It's a public event. Just type in Well-Oiled DIY Holiday Bazaar, and you should see it pop up. You can hit on discussion, and you can scroll through and watch whatever demos that you guys want to watch. There's some really good ones on there. But that's it. That's coming to a close. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving, a wonderful Christmas, and a wonderful time making these gifts for your friends and family. Bye, everyone.